two travel agents with an ocean-sized obsession for small ship cruising.
Get ready as we inspire you to sail beyond the brochure.
It's the ship less traveled.
Well, good day, everybody. I'm coming to you from the ship less traveled. That's my Aussie accent. Lorraine, can you do an Aussie accent?
Do you know, the funny thing is, Dave, I'm just going to squeeze this in because I've just thought about it when you said that. But when I lived in Canada, everyone thought I was Australian.
Really?
I literally, I would have to, and then I would say, no, I'm not from Australia. And they'd go through other English speaking countries. No, no, no. And then they'd say England. I'm like, yes. I don't know why I said Australia. I've never even been there, Dave.
I've been down under twice. I just love it. If you haven't figured it out, folks, today we're going to talk about river cruising in Australia. There's a destination that you might not have even heard about that's going to be on your bucket list, let me assure you on that one. But I just will start the conversation by saying that growing up in Canada, I had early exposure to Australia through TV and seeing the animals and seeing the landscape. And we had pen pals in Australia that we'd write to. And so, through the Commonwealth and the connections that brings across the world, ever since I was a little boy, I've just known about Australia and I always wanted to go to Australia. So, Lorraine, when did you first hear about Australia and how did it resonate for you?
Well, here in England, I think you have them in Canada, although I'm not sure. We had Neighbours and Home and Away, which
Oh, yes.
were really big soaps here. And so, yeah, that's really my first kind of insight to Australia growing up. I loved those programs, corny as they were. Still
Absolutely.
are, but, but just seeing how people live seems so much different to how we live here.
Absolutely. Yet it's still kind of similar. When I was in university, I actually was able to take a course on the history of Australia, which was interesting because I think Australia, it really is the other side of the world. My nanny would say you dig a hole and you keep going on the side of the earth, you'll end up in Australia. And yet it's kind of similar, right? You've got the English language, they drive on the same side of the road as you, the laws are inherited from the UK. So again, there's this familiarity and yet total difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely.
That's the way I see it. Yeah. That's the way
Totally.
Canada is with us in the UK as well. Apart from obviously you drive on the wrong side of the road over there.
Well, I've been down to Australia twice, and the first time I went to Australia, I said, I don't need to go back there. I've done everything in Australia. I saw Ayers Rock, I saw the Great Barrier Reef, held the koala bear, all the key moments. And then I ended up getting an opportunity to go on a FAM to Brisbane and to visit Brisbane specifically. And that was really cool. And then I thought, okay, well, now I've been to Australia twice. I don't need to go back to Australia again. And yet I ran into a supplier a couple of months ago and I interviewed them on my other channel about trips that they're doing, small ship expedition cruising in the northwest of Australia in an area called the Kimberley. Well, now I'm thinking about going back for what would be my third trip. I'm like Queen Elizabeth. I just keep going back down to Australia every couple of years.
You're like a boomerang.
Yeah, I am, absolutely. And so anyway, I'm obsessed with the Kimberley. Have you ever heard about this?
I have. Do you know the same? Where I heard about it was through an expedition function in London that I went to a few years back. And they were talking about the Kimberleys. I thought, wow, I've never even heard of this place, but wow, the pictures look amazing. I'd love to do this. I thought, wow, that is a stunning trip right there. And I could go to Australia just to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, they're typically about 1 week, which I think it is a long way to go from whether you're coming from UK or Canada to go to Australia just for a week. Some of them can get up to 10 days and be a little bit longer, but still, you might want more in Australia. And there's so many things that, Lorraine and I can help you plan for your time down under, maybe an epic rail journey across Australia. But let's talk about the Kimberley. So for this, you've got to get to Darwin, which is up in the Northern Territory. And so because of climate and stuff, these trips happen in the summertime. So June, July, August. And I know that can kind of run against when most people make their trips down under, thinking about the hemispheres and everything. But that's when you got to go to the Kimberley.
Okay, so how do we get there, Dave?
Well, you're going to fly into Darwin. Some will start in Broome, so I guess you're going to be getting a flight probably up from Perth or from Sydney. You're going to be going into one of Australia's larger gateways. So again, this works really well if you do want to plan some pre or post activities, and then work your way up to Darwin, which is at the top of the Northern Territory. And then from there, they'll pick you up and they'll take you from the airport to your small ship and then get you out into the Kimberley, where you're sailing amongst the landscape. There's Aboriginal artwork that is, get this, 40,000 years old, this artwork,
Wow.
and signs of Aboriginal civilization in this part of the
Wow.
world. Yeah. And of course, the animals and the hiking opportunities. And what I love about a nice expedition cruise is that once you've gotten out into the wild and you've gotten your fix of nature, you get to come back and relish in the comfort to recharge yourself.
Oh, and those ships are luxurious. Those expedition ships.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm sure you watched Once Upon a Day, the movie Crocodile Dundee. I think we all saw that. And movies, especially I think with Australia, whether it's Crocodile Dundee or Priscilla, there's so many great movies from Australia that put the image of Australia in our mind. And in Crocodile Dundee, when it opens and that helicopter is just going across the outback, these expedition cruises to the Kimberley do that for you. They have expedition activities that include helicopters to take you to the top of waterfalls and just that real OMG scenery that we see every time Australia's in front of us.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, that is definitely one for the bucket list.
So, like, it's easy to say yes to going to the Kimberleys. Obviously, we can help you book the Kimberleys. Don't worry if you think, "Yeah, I don't know where to get that is. We know how to get you there." But what would be, in your opinion, Lorraine, some reasons why people would say, "I don't want to go to Australia"? Like, what are some of the apprehensions people might have?
Oh, well, for me, I'm arachnophobe, so spiders are huge, quite literally, huge
Yes.
thing to me. And I think the heat as well, it can get like 40 degrees down there, which is scary to some people. And we're suffering with 30 degrees today.
And it would be even going hotter still. Some of the
Hottest day.
extreme temperatures of Australia. So, some of the extreme temperatures, some of the wildlife can definitely be factors. These expedition cruises, they are not going to take you out and expose you to danger. They are professionals at bringing you to the edge where you can see the crocodiles in the saltwater hole, but you're not going to go swimming in the saltwater hole. In fact, in these expeditions in the Kimberleys, there is no swimming allowed because you just can't do it there.
Oh,
You know, Australia has all the snakes and the spiders, but I've never had problems in my travels down there, and many people go down every year. I think another thing though that people think about from Canada, and I wonder if it's the same from UK, it's just the length of the flight to get there, that can
oh,
be a topic.
yeah, that is actually really huge for me, Dave. A short hop down to Europe is about all I can manage at the moment. But I want to build up to, I really want to build up to doing these cruises out to Asia and Australia, further afield because you've got to see it. That's why I came into travel in the first place was to see all these destinations. So I know I've got to get on a plane and do that.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, from the UK, you can break up your flights down to Australia, of course, through the Middle East. I know a lot of carriers like Dubai, Emirates can give you that Dubai stopover option. You can stop in Southeast Asia, do a resort, have a White Lotus moment. And from North America, we've got some great options as well to get you across the Pacific if you want to break up those flights. And otherwise you might just want to get down there. But again, because these expeditions are going to start from Darwin and there's not a ton of international flights there, you're going to want to be thinking about entering and exiting Australia via, say, Perth, Melbourne, or maybe Sydney. Yeah,
Yeah,
those
but
seem
there's
the
plenty
upper.
to do in those destinations alone as well. We can definitely book those pre and post cruise hotels for you to explore the cities of Australia as well as the wilderness.
Absolutely. Well, before we wrap up, I'd love to know when you do get down to Australia, what does your fantasy trip to Australia entail, Lorraine? What do you want to do?
Well, I would love to actually do a cruise around Australia and New Zealand. I mean, that
Mm.
really appeals to me to just see a bit of everything. And again, traveling in luxury, so I don't have to keep getting in and out of cars, in and out of hotels. I'd love to just do a general Australian cruise. I want to do Sydney, I want to do Melbourne, I want to do Auckland. I want to do it all. And then yeah, I would love to go up to Kimberley. 100%. That is definitely one that you've got to put on that list.
You're going to need over a month to get all that
Never
done.
ending list.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we could talk about New Zealand cruising, and probably we'll come back to talk about that another time because that's just another sensational destination, and it is a popular add-on for Australia, but it can be a destination in and of itself. Just being able to access those small bays and inlets and fjords of New Zealand on a small ship. Again, the large ships just simply can't go there.
Absolutely, and that's why we love small ship cruising.
Absolutely. So, if you're interested in Australia, or if you've been to Australia and you're thinking maybe you'd like to go back to Australia but experience it in a different way, I think the Kimberley can definitely help give that to you, and we would love to help you with that. Don't worry about the animals or the critters. I know Meryl Streep had a dingo eat her baby when she was down in the Outback, but that won't happen to you. But anyhow, if you would like to go and book a trip down to Australia and go and see the dingoes and all of it for yourself, and you're in North America, I would love to help you with that and share my experience. My name is Dave Wentworth, and you can find me on my website, destinationwhatever.com.
And I'm Lorraine McCower, and I'm at bespokecruiseholidays.com.
All right, everybody. Well, until the next time we see you, take care, Sheila. That's my last Australian accent.
That was amazing, Dave.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Curious about small ship cruising and ready to start planning? We're here to help plan your next voyage, whether you're a first timer or a seasoned sailor.
If you're in the UK, I'd love to hear from you. You can find me at bespokecruiseholidays.com or visit my agency's Facebook page. Let's plan something unforgettable.
I'm in Canada and cover North America. Visit my website, destinationwhatever.com, or connect with my agency on Facebook. Let's get you on board, literally.
If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Click on those like and subscribe buttons and please share us with your cruise-loving friends. Support our channel and let's keep this ship sailing.
Thanks for coming on board. Until next time, this has been The Ship Less Traveled, where small ships lead to big adventures.